So if you're anywhere near marketing ops, you probably know that sound, right?
Which sound is that?
That awful sinking feeling when a big Martech deployment just flops. The organization picks some shiny new tool, maybe based on hype or this amazing feature list.
Or just what the vendor promised them, yeah.
Exactly. And then months down the line, it's just sitting there, barely used.
Right. And processes get all fragmented, ROI is, well, nowhere to be seen.
It's technology for technology's sake.
Yeah.
And it's a huge budget killer. We see it all the time.
Yeah, and that fragmentation, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's really a direct result of skipping the strategic planning part.
Skipping the homework.
Pretty much. So today what we want to do is pull out a really structured approach, something designed to cut through all that complexity.
Okay.
The idea, really, is for you listening to get a framework that helps you align your MarTech spending, not just with, making things run smoother day to day.
Which is important, of course.
Absolutely, but also, and this is the real game changer, align it with hitting those big strategic commercial goals.
So moving beyond just efficiency.
Precisely. We're focusing on the FAPI Marketing Framework. It's from Chasefive, a B2B consultancy that really focuses on operationalizing strategy. They've laid out a kind of strategic blueprint for deployment, and it is a really interesting blueprint. It completely sidesteps that typical future-first approach. Instead, it insists on this fascinating structure, a dual-lane deployment model, the two swim lane schema, as they call it.
Right, 2 swim lanes. And the whole point is to make sure MarTech isn't just efficient operationally, but it's also, strategically impactful.
Spot on.
Okay, let's unpack this, these 2 lanes. What are they exactly, and why is it so vital they run side by side?
Yeah, you nailed it. They have to run simultaneously because marketing really needs 2 things, right? It needs efficiency, sure, but it also needs effectiveness. So lane 1 is the productivity lane. This one is purely focused on operational efficiency. It's about the speed, the quality of execution, getting stuff done well.
And I guess the trap there is just stopping at speed, right?
Yeah.
Focusing only on that lane.
Absolutely. If you only focus there, you might get really fast at delivering, completely irrelevant marketing.
Ouch. Okay. Which is why you need that strategic counterbalance. That's lane 2, the performance lane. Got it.
This one's focus is entirely on strategic and commercial results. So if productivity asks, how fast can we do this? Performance asks, wait, should we even be doing this? And what's the actual business impact going to be?
It sounds like a necessary tension. Still right into the model.
It is.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that both lanes, productivity and performance, they move through the exact same 4 stages.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Core logic, business processes,
Yeah.
systems, and finally, outcomes. It seems like it forces you to make tech decisions in context.
Which is, completely the opposite of how most companies go shopping for software, right?
Totally. They see a demo, they like the features.
Exactly. But that context is the framework's genius, really. If you jump straight to picking systems, you have no grounding, no framework for what you're actually trying to achieve.
And you end up with
a bunch of tools that don't talk to each other, don't report on anything meaningful, just noise. Okay, so let's walk through the stages. Stage 1, core logic. This sounds fundamental. Defining the basic principles before anything else. Absolutely non-negotiable. You have to start here. Because the logic, that's what dictates how you allocate resources. And that's where the real strategic risk is.
Makes sense. So how does the logic differ between the 2 lanes for the productivity lane?
Okay, so for productivity, the logic is all rooted in the marketing operational structure. Think of it as the internal wiring.
Like who does what?
Exactly. Clearly defined roles, clear scope of work, team responsibilities all mapped out. It's about making sure the execution engine is built for, capacity and consistency.
Right, that clicks for the operations side. But the performance lane, that's focused on commercial goals. How does it define its core logic?
This is where it gets really high stakes. The performance lane's logic is defined by the marketing strategy model.
Strategy model, meaning?
Meaning the why behind where the money and people go, the resource allocation rationale. It's about making sure those big decisions line up directly with the company's overall strategic objectives.
Okay, so this is critical.
Massively, because if your logic is flawed here, let's say you're basing 70% of your budget on how you spent it last year instead of maybe future customer lifetime value. Then it doesn't matter how efficient your productivity lane is. No amount of speed can rescue a fundamentally flawed strategy.
Wow. That's a huge point. You could be executing perfectly like clockwork, but spending all that effort on the wrong audience or maybe the wrong channel just because that underlying strategic model was off base.
Precisely. Performance tools have got to serve that purpose first. They need to support strategic goals based on actual evidence. Okay, so logic sets the why. Then we get practical. Stage 2, business processes. This is building the operational spine, right? Translating the why into the how. That's it. And here, the processes in each lane start to look quite different based on their goals.
How so?
Well, for the productivity lane, the processes are all about reducing friction, making work flow smoothly, consistently, quickly.
So things like standard workflows.
Yeah. Clear marketing production workflows, defined roles again, maybe specific team rituals, coordinated resource management, basically ensuring work moves efficiently from team to team, whatever tech you end up using.
It sounds like designing the highway before you pick the cars.
That's a great analogy. Yes. Meanwhile, the performance lane processes, they're laser focused on building the foundation for smart decision making.
Which means data, I assume.
It absolutely means data,
Yeah.
specifically establishing end-to-end data flow. And look, this is not a trivial task.
I can imagine.
It requires really thinking through how performance data gets captured seamlessly, how it gets integrated, and how it's analyzed, so you get that complete holistic picture of marketing's impact.
End-to-end data flow. That's one of those phrases, isn't it? Sounds simple, but technically it's huge. For our listeners deep in Martech ops, what kind of specific connections must be defined here in the process stage?
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road. You need processes that guarantee, say, the system capturing your top-of-funnel engagement, maybe your ad platform or campaign tool,
Okay.
is consistently feeding data to and aligning with the system that tracks lead qualification, like your CRM.
Right.
And then crucially, that system aligns with whatever records the closed-won revenue, which is often the ERP or finance system.
So connecting the dots all the way through.
All the way. If the process doesn't mandate that alignment and the data governance around it, then the systems you pick in the next stage, they'll just be collecting noise in silos.
And things like personalization engines or attribution models.
They just won't deliver. They can't without that explicit process ensuring clean, connected data.
Which brings us nicely to stage 3, systems. And I want to really underline that timing point again. Based on this framework, you only evaluate, choose, and plug in tools after you've solidified the core logic and the business processes.
Correct.
Is there pressure to jump ahead? I bet there is. Why is resisting that so important?
The temptation is always there. You know, vendor deadlines loom. Maybe a department is desperate for something.
Sure.
But resisting is vital. Because if you pick a system before you've defined your process, what happens?
You bend your process to fit the tool.
Exactly. You end up customizing your ideal workflow to match the tool's limitations. Instead of picking the tool that actually enables your optimal process, you get forced into doing things suboptimally.
Okay, point taken. So after logic and process are set, the tool selection should naturally follow the lane structure. What kind of systems fit into that productivity lane?
Right. So in the productivity lane, the systems you choose are your management tools. These are the ones supporting efficient execution and internal coordination.
Like project management software.
Yeah, collaboration platforms, project management tools, digital asset management, maybe administrative solutions, things that keep the internal engine running smoothly and efficiently. They're mostly internal facing.
Okay. And the performance lane. I'm guessing these are the more customer-facing, campaign-focused tools.
Exactly right. The performance lane systems are your high-stakes marketing campaign tools. Platforms for actually activating campaigns, doing sophisticated tracking, personalization, optimization.
The tools that drive results.
Well, tools selected because they can tie marketing activities directly to measurable business goals, using that end-to-end data flow we designed back in stage 2.
Ah, the connection again.
Absolutely critical. If that data flow process isn't defined and working, you really shouldn't even be buying that fancy campaign tracking tool, period.
Right. And that leads us to the final stage, number 4, outcomes. This is where it all comes together, linking the structured approach directly to measurable results. The ROI test, basically. It's really like 2 ROI tests because the metrics are distinct for each lane, serving different purposes.
Okay, how so?
The productivity lane focuses on driving internal operational productivity. That's grounded in the operational structure and the workflows we defined. So the outcomes are measured using production metrics.
Like how fast did we get it done? Yeah, efficiency stuff, time to market for campaigns, sticking to budget, maybe asset reuse rates, just hitting operational targets. Did we deliver on time, on budget? Classic operational report card. Makes sense.
Whereas the performance lane is absolutely laser-focused on strategic effectiveness because it's tied to that marketing strategy model and relies on that clean data flow.
It measures business impact. Precisely. Performance lane outcomes are measured against commercial targets. We're talking about achieving specific customer outcomes, things like lead to opportunity conversion rates, maybe customer acquisition cost reduction, ultimately things like LTV growth, goals aligned with the broader business objectives.
So the dual focus ensures you're not just fast, but you're fast doing the right thing.
That's the goal, fast and effective.
So let's bring this all together. For you listening, trying to apply this framework right now, synthesizing the whole point of this FAPI framework, it really seems to boil down to ensuring relevance, doesn't it, at every single stage?
That is the ultimate takeaway, yes.
Right.
This whole schema, this structure, it's designed to make sure every technology decision happens in context. Meaning ensuring that every tool, every process, every integration directly supports either A, operational efficiency, or B, quantifiable commercial outcomes. It's about moving technology from being seen as just a cost center
To being a genuine strategic enabler.
Exactly.
This really sounds like the antidote to that impulse buy software problem we talked about at the start.
It forces you mandates, really, that you define the problem, the process, and how the data connects before you even glance at the shiny new features.
It does. It anchors your Martech decisions in that broader strategic and operational logic, rather than just picking tech based on, cool features or vendor hype or what one department happens to need right now.
Because those things.
Well, our sources suggest those practices often lead directly to those underused tools and that fuzzy ROI that plays so many marketing teams.
Okay, so maybe we can use the framework itself as a kind of final checklist. We could leave you with 3 key questions to ask yourself.
Good idea.
Are your current Martech tools actually selected based on a solid foundation, like clearly articulated core logic and defined business processes? Or did you kind of jump straight to the systems stage? Good question. Second, does your tech stack give equal weight and support to both the productivity and the performance lanes? Because lots of organizations get really good at efficiency.
But maybe fail strategically. Yeah, because their performance data flow is broken or non-existent. Okay. And the third question, can you draw a clear traceable line from every major tool in your stack, follow it through your defined processes, and connect it all the way to your actual commercial outcomes? That's the clincher.
Yeah. If you can't confidently answer yes to those, it might be time to take this dual lane strategic blueprint and maybe reframe how you're approaching Martech.
Definitely. The FAPI Marketing Framework is, I think, a powerful reminder that getting technology implementation right is fundamentally a strategic and structural challenge. It's not just about the tech itself.
Well put. And thinking about that performance lane, if it really is successful, if it's providing that continuous end-to-end data flow and enabling truly evidence-based decisions, here's a final thought for you to consider.
Okay. Does the productivity lane then need to become much more adaptable? Does its core logic need to change faster than traditional operational structures usually allow, just to keep pace with the rapid data-driven strategic shifts the performance lane is now demanding? Interesting question. Agility across both lanes.
Something to chew on as you look at your own organization's agility this week.